Hi there, my name is Tatiana and you're watching YouTube channel You Can. Today is August 3rd, 2022, and this is part 2 of taking care of black raspberry plants. All right, for this part of taking care of black raspberry plants, you will need a few tools. And those are gloves, loppers or pruners, and a wheelbarrow. Just a little side note, a lot of times in August there's all these little gnats and bugs that love to get in your eyes and face, and they can be very annoying. So what I have here is a little charcoal piece with myrrh tears, they're called. Basically it's myrrh resin in little balls that you can get at incense stores, and this really helps deter the gnats, the nasty stuff. So the cool thing about gardening is that a lot of things can be done as time permits. I technically could have done this step as soon as the black raspberry plants stopped fruiting, which was roughly 4, maybe 5 weeks ago, but I didn't have time, so right now I do, and that's what I'm doing, and it's okay. Alrighty, so I have these long loppers, which I find very useful and handy because a lot of times it's really hard to get into the canes because they do have thorns. So this is like an arm extension. You want to make sure that they're sharp. And if we take a look here, you can see these dead looking, brown looking canes. These are the ones that had fruit on them this year. That's all these little clusters are the parts where the berries actually sat on. So all of these canes need to go. So once you get down here, it's kind of hard to tell, for a beginner maybe, the difference between the canes of this year's growth and the ones that produced fruit. So I want to point out a few things here. You can see this cane is like a purplish color. This is what had the fruit. This is the cane that fruited this year. These light green canes over here, over there, and there, these are all the new growth. This cane, this cane, this cane, this is the old cane. So I will cut it off, and then I will get up here and I will pull it out. And we did tie them with zip ties to the wire here, so sometimes it's a little hard to get them out, but I like to cut and take this out and then cut the next one because it can turn into a big mess. So as I'm going through and cutting out the canes, I'm also going to pull some of these weeds out just to save myself some time later on. The cool thing about black raspberry plants is that they need to be heavily mulched with preferably hardwood wood chips, and that really prevents a lot of the weeds from taking over and growing in very thick. But there's still some weeds, so as I go through I will get the weeds as well. That way my row is a lot cleaner for next year. All right, so the way this looks right now just makes you want to go, it looks so nice and clean. All right, so let's look at this cluster right here. So it's a little thick. There's quite a few canes in there, and technically some of them should be removed or could be removed, but I'm not going to do that until next spring because the way where it's planted and the way our winters have been, I don't know how many will freeze out. Usually about 2 or 3 canes per bunch will freeze out. So I do not want to remove any canes until next spring, and then I will go through and I will remove the ones that have been frost damaged, and there will be roughly 3 to 5 canes left per bunch. So if you remember in the first video, I had been walking through and pinching the tips, which you can see right here, that little brown spot. That's actually where the cane had been pinched, and you can see how it branched out. It has three branching out parts. So what will happen is, as the season continues towards the end of fall, these will get very long. They will actually get so long they will touch the ground. And whichever of these canes, if all of them or one or two, however many touch the ground, they're going to sprout roots from the tips. And that's where your new plant comes from if you want to keep the same variety and propagate it. Speaking of which, we also have a link that you can go on and see. We're going to be selling a few plants next year of this variety, which I don't know what the variety is, but if you're interested, you can take a peek in the link that's listed below. So we also did an experiment. There was a couple clusters or a couple bunches that we did not pinch, and I want you to see what is going on. So the previous cane that I showed you, we had pinched at the tip and it had sent out shoots on the sides. This one is just continuing to grow longer and longer and longer, which I'm assuming it's also going to reach the ground and sprout roots from the bottom, but there will be only one plant for one cane, whereas that other particular cane that I was showing you has three branches that will sprout roots. So I'm already seeing the difference in the amount of new plants we're going to get from this one, or up to 5 from some of the canes that we did pinch. If you're homesteading, chickens are a great asset to your garden. They are great pest removers. So this particular hen is either a Easter egger or Americana. I'm not very good with breeds, but she had been hatched April 15th of this year and almost completely mature, and we just kind of let them wander around and pick the bugs, and they do a fantastic job. Chickens will eat Japanese beetles, June bugs, they eat grubs, they eat ticks. We don't really have a problem with ticks here since we put a fence around our yard, but they are really beneficial for gardens. Folks, if you have any questions, if I missed something, drop a comment below. For this video, that's it. Thank you for watching. Hit a like if you liked the video and subscribe to our channel.